Andrew Clennell is with me, and a little bit of good news there towards the end, certainly for those following us in the media, trying to keep across the health situation. Those COVID numbers will be provided straight off the bat in the morning.
Well, very interesting, because, I mean, I think a lot of us asked that of Gladys Berejiklian. The Victorians had to do it because they had a leak in the department. And Gladys Berejiklian, part of the aura she created around herself was those 11 o'clock presses, here are the secret numbers. And that's the end of that. And I guess part of the strategy around that is where Gladys Berejiklian was heading, which is normalising COVID. Saying these are numbers we are still going to release, but we're not going to make a big song and dance about it every day. Now, in defence of Berejiklian, you know, when she was doing that, they were going up and up and up, and she needed to be accountable. But even prior to the outbreak, she did a lot of COVID presses,
They didn't like the TikTok, man.
Yeah, Well, supporters would say, well, hang on a minute, if she didn't do the presses, you'd be bagging her for that. And maybe sometimes we would, but I think it's interesting. I always felt the health department had them at 8 p.m. at night. And as a journalist, as someone who likes to get information on the public, it's useful to have them early. And for that to be one of his first acts, I mean, it's partly about openness, isn't it? It's a departure from the way Gladys Berejiklian did things. It's a sign he doesn't want to be the COVID numbers premier, which Gladys Berejiklian became very popular off the back of. Otherwise, in that presser, it was kind of awkward in the sense, Kieran, that they're going to go in and make the decisions, and he was being peppered on what are the decisions. It might well be he goes in there, as Berejiklian did on occasion, and ministers just argue against what he's proposing. And generally, the Premier, if everyone's against you, goes that way. It's why it's a cabinet committee. So I think he'll be pushing the boundaries, but he's not in terms of the dates. That's clear. He said that to us yesterday, and he said that again today. But he is in terms of some of the measures. And really, it's kind of semantics with some of that, because as I pointed out, next Monday, when the restrictions come off, it'll be 74% double vax. It'll be a week later, not much more than a week later, it will be 80% double vax. So you're talking about restrictions in place for a week. The bigger issue or the bigger question will be, what does he do for the unvaccinated? And he's hinted that they could get a few more freedoms earlier. And as I reported last hour, I think there might be some momentum behind opening that international border at the start of November instead of the middle of November. That's something that you could announce that could give you a bit of a lift, because the premiers, when they come in, they always want a bit of a lift. They want to be different, but he's weighing that up between, as one of his colleagues says, he doesn't want to be seen as a let it ripper. He's mentioned the word safe several times already, but he wants to show that he's about giving people the freedoms they want. So no doubt the announcement tomorrow morning on all of that.